which is a long section. And honestly, I realize most of you are just going to go through and use Desmos anyway. But I did give you a couple problems, handwritten problems, to graph these and rewrite these. So remember, our function before was in this form. So for example number 1, to rewrite this in the form of a over x minus h plus k, what you're going to do is you're actually going to do some division. Now, it's simple division. It's not as complicated as when we did it in previous chapters. But you're going to take the numerator, divide it by the denominator, and do some long division. X goes into 3x 3 times. And the nature of these problems are that you're only going to get a whole number up here. If you don't get a whole number, then you didn't do it right. And then when you subtract, 5 minus 3 is 2. And remember, when we were rewriting this, we would rewrite it as 3 plus the remainder over the divisor. So this is how we wrote it in the previous sections. But now we're actually going to put the remainder first. And you can see now that we have our h and our k. And if you go back to the previous section, remember, your vertical asymptote is where the denominator is equal to 0, which we still get here, -1. And our horizontal asymptote is the ratio of the lead coefficients, 3 over 1. And you can see that we have a plus 3. And then for example number 2, again, the nature of these, you will only have to do the division once. They're not as complicated as when we did them in the previous chapters. You ask yourself, how many times does x go into 7x? And that would be 7 times. So 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 13 is 91. Then subtract. These cancel, which is what's supposed to happen. And then you get -20 minus 91. It's going to be a weird problem. I wonder if I typed that out wrong. So let's see. That becomes -20 plus -91. So you get 111. Yeah, this is going to be a weird one. So if I was writing this in previous chapters, I'd write the remainder over what I was dividing by. But for this particular one, we're going to write it as the remainder first and then the quotient last.